Okay. Good to see everybody. Long time no see, right? So pleased with the effort yesterday by everybody. After watching the tape, like I said yesterday, in terms of complimentary football, it was really good, especially right before the half, like that. Coordinators put together a good plan, and they executed that plan for the most part. I thought the no huddle and doing the stuff with tempo was good. I thought that was gave us a little bit of juice there. And even though you're not snapping the ball right away, you can always assess what the defense is doing there. So I thought that was good. And then injury update I have is 76 Tevin Jenkins. That's the only one I have. He's got an ankle, and we'll see where it is as we go through the week. So I'll take questions.
He's going to go with you.
Yeah.
Caleb was talking about the win against a couple of players. When you evaluate quarterbacks and when you did this offseason, do you sit there and go, do you need to be a certain kind of quarterback to play at Soldier Field effectively? And is that an arm strength thing? Is that just how well can you spin it thing? What are the clues you look for to see, can this guy throw when it's windy?
Yeah, I mean, you want to be able to see him drive it through the wind for sure. And the wind was swirling yesterday. It was a little bit different than normal, coming out of the west, northwest. So it was good to see that we, operated the way we did, in the quarters that we wanted to operate. So the wind was going in one direction for sure. And you could see that in the kicking game. You could tell when Torrey was punting one way, it was difficult to punt it down there. And when it was the other way, it was a little bit easier. So, but to answer your question, yeah, Caleb's got a very strong arm. He can cut through the wind. And again, you got to know which way it's blowing to make sure you understand where it's going to go when you throw it.
Do you view that as one of the things he's got to, as he takes these steps about, how to play quarterback in the NFL, just learning how to play in a kind of an unusual home environment, with the weather, with the wind?
Yeah, I think that's like anything. I think he's going to have to learn how to do that as we go, because it's going to get worse. It's not going to get better. So that's the way Chicago is. So we're going to get ice, we're going to get wind, we're going to get snow, we're going to get all the elements here. So it's going to be good, and we'll practice outside too. So we'll get used to it.
What's the greatest benefit of doing the no huddle, and what does it say about Caleb that you're comfortable letting him do that?
Yeah, I think the greatest benefit is to you control the pace, and you could get on the ball and snap it right away. You can get on the ball and look and see what the defense is giving you, in terms of the looks. You have time to change your call if you'd like to, So there's a lot of benefit to it, and I think it's a cat and mouse game you got to play on as a defensive guy. But I think it's really good. It's really good to get the tempo going and the guys operate. And of course, he's very comfortable doing that because that's what he did a lot in college, and he'll tell you that too.
What were you most impressed with Caleb Williams in this game?
I would just say the ability to get the ball to the receivers, in a more consistent way. And that was by design. That was by we haven't had a big game like that by the receivers yet. So there's playing point guard. He's done that a couple games ago. In the last game, getting it to the tight ends and backs. But this was getting the ball down the field to the receivers. And that was most exciting to me.
Man, I know the benefit of arriving early in London is getting adjusted to the time difference, but what are the challenges of it, just in terms of practice logistics or players getting out of it?
Yeah, the challenges is to stick to your routine because it's a little different, right? It's planes, trains, automobiles, all that stuff, and then you got to really wire into doing your job. So whatever your prep is on Monday, today, Tuesday, Wednesday, all the way through the week, you got to keep that the same. Because there's going to be other things that go on, and I'm going to have a meeting with the players once they get in here about that. And to me, it's about staying with your routine. Whatever time you go to bed at the same time. Don't change it, and you got to make sure you're doing that. And we have to do that as a group.
The Jaguars play in London every year, including twice last year. They have a lot of players who've done this before. What kind of advantage is that for them?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is, right? So we're going to do our plan. We're going to focus on us, and it's about us, about how we prepare, how we go about our business to prepare. It's what we're going to do on the grass over there. So we're going to look at our preparation, our film study, how we prepare, just like we do here, and it's going to be no different.
Have you looked into what teams do? I mean, is this an unusual, is it just another game, or is this special enough that you've looked into what wins, what doesn't, what's an advantage? Have you researched that much? What have you done?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. It doesn't seem like there's any numbers that tell you that one way or the other. But, to me, it's about focusing on us. That's really all we can do.
Yeah, I was gonna ask along the lines of London, some teams it's just another road game, but other teams say, well, the cultural and historical significance of being in a place like this. What's your philosophy on a trip like this?
Yeah, to me, it's just about that field's the same size, and it's about preparation. It's all about us, and that's what my mantra is going to be, and that's what it's always been. You focus on your preparation. We have Jacksonville, and they present issues like every other team does, and we got to really deal with those issues, and then we have to focus on our execution.
You've talked about, the run game's been better the last 2 weeks. You've talked about the execution of the blocks and of the running backs. What about Caleb's ability at the line of scrimmage to identify safeties, to identify and get you into the right run?
Yeah, it's getting better.
Or out of the wrong run, maybe.
Yeah, it's getting better. It's not perfect yet, but it's getting better. So the defenses give you different looks and disguise different things, and sometimes you're right when you do it, and oftentimes you're right, but sometimes you're not. And we're getting better at that week to week.
Is that just with experience, everybody gets better, or are there things you can do to improve it kind of during?
Yeah, I think it's just with time and experience, just exposure to it. And again, every week it's different. Different teams disguise different ways, and you got to be on the tells and making sure you're on point there.
You mentioned that it was by design to get the ball to the receivers and get the ball downfield. Is that something that the receivers and the players had been voicing as well with that open communication with Shane Waldron?
Yeah, I think so. And it's been in practice. We saw it in practice first, and there's been that connection here in the last couple of weeks, and we were just waiting for it to happen in the game. When the looks presented itself, and a couple of times it did yesterday, and we got some good looks and had some good execution.
Seemed like the defensive line had its best game yesterday. Would you agree with that? And how would you assess the way they played yesterday? Seemed like you got contributions from a lot of different guys. And frankly, the outside noise before the season was that position might be the biggest question mark, but it seems like it's been good so far.
Yeah, the rotation's been great. So keeping guys fresh and really platooning those guys through there. I think Travis has done a really good job of that during the course of the game. And you have your guys fresh in the fourth quarter, fresh on third down, to make sure they can operate and be at a good level there in terms of energy level, in terms of rushing the passer, like Jervon, he's been rotating out of there, and even saw Big Bill there yesterday get a sack. So it was good to see. My favorite play of the game, by the way.
Man, on the second touchdown to DJ, it looked like Caleb was making some adjustments at the line of scrimmage. What can you tell us about what?
When was it?
On the second touchdown to DJ on the post.
Uh-huh.
It looked like Caleb was making an adjustment at the line of scrimmage. What can you tell us about what he did there to maybe set things up?
Yeah, he was just making based on a look, was making some adjustments there and signal to the receivers on this side, but we had that particular route on the other side, so I thought DJ ran a really good route there, and that was sequencing right before the half there, so I think it was really good in terms of how he pressed outside, got some separation there, and ran that skinny post. So ball was right there where it needed to be, and good execution.
On the Hubbard touchdown run, what did you see happen at the linebacker and safety level for the hole to kind of open for him?
Yeah, that's just being where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. That's really what it was. Some guys got cut out on the backside. That usually typically is what it is. It wasn't misfit in any way. We just got to do a better job of playing technique.
What do you need to be most aware of with Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah, Trevor's a good player. He's experienced. He's got a good cast of receivers. He's got a good offensive line in front of him, and they really got their run game going this year, as opposed to last year. They got really got good numbers right now, so it'll be a big challenge for us. He just does a really good job of distributing the ball. He's had a big pass to the rookie yesterday, so they've been efficient, and they look good yesterday for sure.
You mentioned Trevon Dexter. From my perspective, it seemed like you guys were challenging him in the offseason to get his body right, and then even in camp, he didn't get like the full endorsement, like that's your job. Is that a correct characterization, and has he now earned it with?
Yeah, he came back, like I said, when we got back from the summer. He came back in great shape. He changed his body, and he really worked hard, and he's really goes hard in practice. He's got his wind conditioning part of it down And he really established that during training camp. He really does a good job taking care of his body, so he's available. He does that really well, and he just owned the position, and I really think that he's really taken off that way, and he's got the athletic ability and the determination to get that done. So, again, this is week to week. He's building on some good performances, and we'll see him hopefully go forward with it.
There have been some teams that request a bye week after the London trip and teams who haven't. What went into your decision to do that?
Yeah, I just think it's a good time. If it's our schedule's good because we got this, this first 6, and then you got another 6, and then you got the, a little mini bye there. So I think it fits out well for us in terms of the timing of the season, and it's going to be good for us.
What'd you like about the play that Byard made make the interception?
Yeah, that was a really good interception. I've never seen, the ball go up that high. Usually it's broken up by the receiver. But he did a good job using his body and his leverage there to really high point that football. Great concentration. It was really a really good one.